in the 2026 NCAA Women's March Madness press conference for the Alabama Crimson Tide. As the student athletes get settled here, just some quick reminders as a courtesy. Please silence your cell phones, and when we do get the microphone around to you, raise your hand and then provide us with your name and media affiliation each time that you ask questions. If you're joining via Zoom, use the raise hand function for questions. We'll get questions in the room first and then go to Zoom as time allows, and recording of the press conferences in the room is prohibited. So with that, welcome to Louisville and the NCAA tournament, and we'll open it up to questions for the student athletes.
Talia Goodman with On 3. Carly, this team this year obviously looks a lot different than the team last year did, right? Just what's impressed you the most about the way you guys have been able to come together and kind of exceed expectations with the newcomers that have come in?
Yeah, I think it was part of your question. The way that we've just came together has been incredible. We have a bunch of different pieces. We have a different style of play, I would say, because we have so many new pieces. But what's impressed me the most is that on any given night, any girl steps up. And so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to throughout this March Madness is what girls are going to step up tonight. And that's been a joy to be a part of this year because we have so much confidence in one another that we don't care who gets the job done just as long as the job gets done. And so that has been so fun to be a part of with this year's team.
Hey guys, Talia Goodman again on 3. For both of you, Rhode Island is obviously a really talented team. What have you kind of learned as you've started to look into them? What do you think you need to do to get past them in the first round here?
I believe they average 53.8 points per game. So just knowing that each possession matters for them, and if we hone in on our detail, our scout with our players, they have a really good guard, have really good players that are able to get to the mid-range and to the rim. So also stop them from that and stop them from getting to the free throw line. But just playing our game, playing fast-paced, getting open threes, running in transition, getting rebounds. I think if we play the way we have to play and then play very good defense, this will be a game that we'll be able to come out with at the end.
Carly?
Yeah, I mean, they win a lot too. So we're playing against girls that know how to win ball games. This time of year, clearly yesterday with the men's tournament, you see that you cannot overlook nobody. And so it's the same situation for us. We've won a lot of ball games. They've won a lot of ball games. We both know how to win. So who is going to do more tomorrow? I think that they're a really great team. They're very balanced. They're a team that doesn't beat themselves. They take care of the little things, and so we have to be the team tomorrow that takes care of more little things. And as Coach Curry always says, we have to make our runs just a little bit longer than theirs tomorrow.
Natalie Heverin with the 9 Sports. What have practices looked like this week, and what are a couple of the things that you're working on going into playing against Rhode Island?
Carly first, please.
They've been very energetic. I think that one point of emphasis that we've had this week is over-communicate. You can never communicate too much. I feel like we've had, like I said, a lot of energy in our practice. Our gyms have been loud. But our coaches, the expectation has been the same. All year long, we've taught principles, we've taught standards, and so just when you make it to this tournament, you don't change what you do. You trust the preparation that you put in all season long, and I think that our coaches have done a great job of just staying consistent and putting us in situations that are very game-like.
Yeah, basically what Carly said, our practices, there's been a lot of emphasis on communication and detail. Playing in March is basically one possession, honing in our detail, doing what we do best. But I think one thing that we emphasize is having bodies in the paint, touching somebody, making sure we box out, rebound, and kind of getting the shot I want. Our coaches have been doing really good on our scout. Coach Kelly, he did our scout for Rhode Island, and he just made a very big emphasis on the kind of team we're playing and just kind of making them uncomfortable as a team that doesn't turn over the ball as well.
Natalie Heverin with the 9 Basketball. Not directly related to tomorrow's game, but do either of you have a favorite March Madness memory from growing up?
Okay, I do for sure. Do y'all remember? I think UConn was like 112-0, and I was at the game that Morgan Williams hit the shot, and I mean I was right behind where she hit the shot. At the time, I'm going to be honest, I grew up loving Brianna Stewart, so I was a UConn fan. And so when she hit that shot, it upset me a little bit, but to be so close to a moment like that, I will never forget that.
Me, I'm a kid from Charlotte, North Carolina. So on the men's side, it's always been Duke versus Carolina. And then on the women's side, I think Arike Egumbawale had, I believe, 2 games where she's hit 2 buzzer beaters back-to-back. So I think that was probably my favorite moment. Also, when Mississippi State played some team, I think it was UConn, one of the players that hit it mid-range to beat, UConn for the first time. So.
Nancy Worley from Media Coordinator. Now that you've watched Rhode Island, do they remind you of any team that you've played this year, their style, and how did that work? How did that game or the team that you reminded you of, how did you do in that game, and what did they do that it might be problematic for you all?
I believe there are a lot of teams in the SEC that's kind of compared us for a team like Rhode Island. I can say from the style of players, definitely Auburn. They're very athletic. They're able to get to the mid-range and able to get to the basket. We didn't come up with that win against Auburn, but I think that's a learning lesson to be able to win against Rhode Island tomorrow. But also I think like LSU, the way they get out and run and get to the rim, I think those are some things. But every team in the SEC has kind of compared us for a team like Rhode Island.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of what Jess said, I think that Auburn was a great example of the way that they're going to play, the way that they're going to play defensively, the types of things they're going to look for offensively. Like she said, we did not come out with a win in that game, but I also don't think that we played as ourselves. Like, I don't think we played as good as we could have. And so that's also in the back of our head. Yeah, we lost that game, but what did we not do well to lead to that outcome? And so I think that we have a little bit of kind of revenge on our mind. Not necessarily that we're playing Auburn, but we're playing a team that plays a similar style. We did not play well, so how can we play well tomorrow?
I'll wait for questions in the room. I do know we do have media on the Zoom call. If anyone through Zoom would like to ask a question now, we'll welcome you guys in to ask those questions. Otherwise, we can go back to the room. Okay. Ladies, I think we're good. Appreciate your time today. Good luck. See you tomorrow. Coach. Welcome in. Thank you. As Coach gets settled here, just a reminder on cell phones, if you can put those on silent, and if you have a question, just raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. And we asked Coach just to start us off with an opening remark about being here in Louisville for the NCAA tournament. Coach?
Just excited to, make another appearance, I guess, 5 out of the last 6 years, and would have been 6 out of 7 if COVID hadn't come about. But very proud of the culture and, the standard that we established is to be here this time of year. And we're playing a great Rhode Island team, 28 wins, conference, regular season, tournament title, and they're just very, very well coached. So we're excited for the challenge and the opportunity.
Thank you, Coach. All right, first question on the right side there.
Hi, Christy. Talia Goodman on 3. Just considering all that you graduated last season, how impressed are you that the standard has kind of stayed the same and you're back here again?
I think that a lot of that credit goes to the young women in that locker room. Jess Timmons and Carly Weathers have been unbelievable leaders. And, I always say culture doesn't graduate. And they certainly have not let it graduate. And I think we've done a really good job of blending 8 returnees and 7 new faces. And we've had some young players that have developed, and just really proud of everyone in there. And I think that in this day and time that, you just, I'm not sure reload's a good word, but you regroup and you stay at it, and you just go back to work. And that's what this group did come June.
Carly was just in here, and she's someone who has been there for 4 years and has improved kind of gradually every year. What's impressed you most, or what's been the most enjoyable part of getting to coach her and seeing that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I have the words to explain what kind of student athlete. She's the epitome of what every little girl should want to grow up and be like, as far as a student and as far as an athlete. And the work that she's put in and the belief in the front of her chest has always been more important to her than, what she's about. She's got a 3.99 in nursing. She'll graduate in May in 4 years. She works 12-hour shifts on our day off. She's an extraordinary young lady. So, she will be missed because she's just incredibly special as a person, a player, and everything that you should be about.
Natalie Heverin with the 9 Sports. Without giving away your game plan, what are some of the keys to the game for you tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's really, really important, that we understand defensively. They do an amazing job of running their set plays. They do a lot of split action. So I think discipline on defense, from our closeouts to every aspect of our communication, will be critical to our success. They love to set the pace, and they do a really good job of shrinking games and possessions. So we're going to have to do a really nice job of, playing our style of play. But to do that, you have to get stops. And I think it's going to be really important. And, they're just so well coached, and they're very disciplined. They don't beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over. And so it'll be a great test for us.
When your players were in here, they kind of compared Rhode Island's style of play to Auburn, which you weren't able to get it done with them. And they said they were kind of treating it as a revenge game in a sense, obviously not the same team, but that style of play. What do you kind of think of when you hear that comparison? Do you agree? What are your kind of thoughts on that?
Well, I think they probably heard that comparison from somebody else, I think the scout coach. So, but I also think, that game we didn't have Essence Cody. That's a big deal to us, and we have to, have her. That hurt us that game, but certainly similar as far as their discipline and shrinking possessions and that new system at Auburn. So I think that's a comparison that we try to use, and I think it's great, to have them recognize what we need to do better when you're playing a team that is that style. So we did use it as an example and a role model, and so how we need to be different.
I do know we have a question from our Zoom audience. We'll go ahead and get that and then come back to the room with Maxwell Donaldson from the Gadsden Times.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Just the newcomers, obviously Ace, and then also some people maybe who transferred in who haven't been. Just what have you seen from them so far? I know you haven't practiced yet, I don't think. But what have you seen from them so far in this trip?
Well, Maxwell, I hope everything's good down there in Gadsden and Anniston today. I know that everybody there is excited for Ace to have this experience I've been asked that a couple times lately. So what do you think your new faces are going to do? Is there going to be nerves or any of this? I mean, Ace has always been on a big stage in the summer and with our high school. And, I mean, this is why you come to Alabama is to play in March. And, you know, we've got our returning our five starters right now have played in an NCAA tournament. So there's no better example of how to handle this time of year than how they've gone about it. So it's a great opportunity to learn and follow those around you. And, you know, Ace is going to have a big tournament for us to be successful. When we've been at our best, you know, Ace has really been able to impact the stat sheet with her minutes. So excited for Ace. I know she's pretty fired up about playing in the NCAA tournament.
Thanks, Coach. Come back here in the room, Natalie. Do you
Natalie Heverin with the 9 basketball. What did you try to work on between the end of the SEC tournament and coming into the NCAA tournament, you know, before you knew your opponent and then since then?
Well, I think it's an interesting break. And then having done this 14 times now, I think we tried to draw from what's worked, what hasn't worked, how experienced is your team, how inexperienced is your team. And then, you know, based off how many days we're at the SEC tournament and how many days we aren't. So I think it's just been, we've tried to maintain our pace, you know, and understand the urgency, but yet we've needed to rest. And we've had some injuries and some bumps and bruises. So I feel like that we've done a really good job of finding a happy medium. I guess we're going to see tomorrow. But, you know, I feel like this team and the pace that we were on a year ago, some of the things we did, some of the things after it I wish I hadn't. So we've just tried to draw from all 14 years and, you know, try to do the best that we could to help prepare them and put them in a position to be ready to go from the tip.
From a fan's perspective, what are the matchups that we might see tomorrow that might be fun to watch and challenging and excitement?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just think, I think it'll be an interesting matchup at the 5 spot. You know, you've got some size. They've got a big 6'5" player that's good. And Essence has faced size all year and got a little size herself. And then Naomi comes in and brings size. And so I think it'll be an interesting game who can win the paint points because I think both teams have really good perimeter players. So I think maybe that's the X factor a little bit that we feel like is going to have to be something that we're going to have a lot of success in the paint. On the offensive glass, you know, getting buckets in the paint. As much as guards make the world go around this time of year, I still think the ball has to go inside. And I think paint points win games. So we've got to have a presence from our post. And I'm excited to see, you know, Essence and Naomi together, fully healthy. Knock on wood, everything's great right now. So we would love to have them together. And I think it's an important time of year for that.
Carly said, this is Nancy from media coordinator. Carly said that this was a special culture or a team gelling. She thought it was special from her 4 years. What do you think the factors are that come in together that she feels that they're so close and so well communicate with each other and that kind of thing?
I honestly can't take any credit for it. It's about the best locker rooms that I've learned are player-led locker rooms, and she and Jess deserve so much credit. They had some really good leaders with Sarah Ashley Barker and Aaliyah Nye and to follow. And, I think, again, culture doesn't graduate. So Carly and Jess have taken that responsibility and have done as good a job as I've ever seen. We talk about grit every single day, love and gratitude, and that's what we build our culture on. And they've done a really good job of continuing it.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate your
Roll
time.
Tide.
See you tomorrow. And a reminder, Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thanks for joining us.